I'm standing in the booth of a multi-million-dollar recording studio, and every take that I'm singing is getting worse and worse. I am so embarrassed that my voice is breaking, my throat is super strained, but to make it worse, just a half hour ago, everything was fine. But it all comes down to one incredibly stupid reason: something I ate.
Ooh, let's go.
It's recording day, and after a year of being in this band and countless hours rehearsing, writing all the songs, getting ready, editing all the lyrics, we're finally ready to hit record and put it all together on an album. I know that planning my meals throughout the day is incredibly important, so I have a really simple breakfast of scrambled eggs and spinach. But it takes me about 3 hours to get all of my gear together and actually get to the studio, and I'm starting to get hungry. Our recording engineer is taking forever to get ready. It was something about how the soundboard was powered down incorrectly the night before, so he had to reboot everything. But the bottom line is we're getting started 5 hours late. Drums, guitars, bass, all of that gets recorded before the vocals get done. But I am starving because we started so late. So I have, the food that I brought, which was just some really simple grilled chicken and broccoli. But I don't have enough of that because we got started so late. We're literally planning on being there all night. Since we started so late, we literally rush to get everything done that we possibly can. All the guitars, drums, bass, it all happens within 2 or 3 takes. But finally, it's time for vocals. Now, because I was so good and avoided stuff like complex carbs, dairy, gluten, all that kind of stuff, sugar, I was actually smooth sailing. I finished all my vocals in just 4 hours, a record time for me. The guys all wanted to celebrate, so they decided to go out and get pizza and beer while I'm finishing up my last vocal takes. I was finally done just as they were coming back to the studio with all of the food. But because I was so proud of myself and how I had done so far, I decided to indulge, and I had 3 slices of pizza and a beer. That's when everything went down the drain. The recording engineer noticed that one of the vocal takes that I did was just a little bit off. It was just a little bit flat, and it was something that he couldn't fix. So could I go back in and just re-record that take? No problem, right? I'm feeling super confident because I totally breezed through all of the vocal recordings up until that point. So I'm back in the booth, and as soon as I start to sing, I know something is terribly wrong. My voice, which is so bright and clear just a half hour before, all of a sudden sounds really phlegmy and tight. All that dairy on the pizza, all the carbs, filling up my stomach, feeling like a balloon, and that beer making me clear my throat so much. Every take was just getting worse. Luckily, I'm in a room isolated from the rest of the band, or else I would have heard all of the terrible things they were saying about my singing. Finally, after an hour, we get the first usable take of one really small piece that I needed to fix. Something that would have taken me minutes before now took over an hour. Ultimately, we ended up scrapping that recording because honestly, we got started so late that we had to rush everything and we couldn't really get tuned in to a really good sound. But the truth is, I was also just not good enough. Who knew that if I had just planned a little bit better or maybe even had a little bit more willpower, this situation I could have avoided completely and I wouldn't have been so embarrassed. Taking care of your voice is everything for a singer. So in order to learn how to do it right, check out this short playlist.